And let's talk about a former close friend of the late, great Queen Elizabeth, who's been speaking out in regards to the Sussexes. What she said.
Yeah, so this is her childhood friend, Lady Glenconner. She actually was one of her ladies that was with her on her coronation day. So sincerely very close to Queen Elizabeth. She's recently released a book, and she was talking to Giles Brandreth on his Rosebud podcast. And somehow, it always happens, you don't mean it to, but somehow they ended up on the subject of Harry and Meghan. And she says she felt like Meghan didn't have a realistic idea of what was expected of her as a Duchess. Perhaps she felt like this was another acting role. And she said that she felt really sad for Prince Harry. Where the real gossip came, Mark, is she talks about how she introduced herself to John Kerry, who's a diplomat and a politician here in the United States, at King Charles's coronation. And I'm going to read this word for word because I'm going to be a little bit naughty here, Mark. So John Kerry, when she poked him and asked him what the Americans feel about Harry and Meghan, he says, word for word, "We all feel very, very sorry for Harry. I think I can just leave it at that." So I need to translate. This is American speak for you, Mark. I want to translate this for you. We all feel very, very sorry for Harry. I think I can just leave it at that. Harry is not the problem. Am I wrong? Like, it sounds like he's saying that the problem, he sympathizes with Harry, Americans sympathize with Harry because they don't feel like he is ultimately the problem. And that's kind of what Lady Glenconner said. Now, I want to stress, John Kerry's people came out and said he didn't remember having this conversation. So kind of denying that it ever took place. But does a 91-year-old lady have any reason to lie to Giles Brandreth? I really don't think so. I'm going to go ahead. I'm just putting it out there that I think this is probably the truth.
Well, I love your American translation. You always get the true words when it's the American translation. And of course, these comments bring us tantalizingly close to understanding what the Queen might have thought when she was around.
Agree. And that's why I do think that the Queen had suggested to Meghan Markle, continue acting, continue doing what you want to do and what you've become so great at. Because I don't think that the Queen wanted to take anything away from her. And I think she wanted to allow Meghan to stay in her comfort zone. But it was Harry and Meghan that insisted that they were going to become full-time working royals while having secret meetings with Quibi on the side and talking to Oprah Winfrey 6 months after the wedding before Megxit or anything. I really believe that they ultimately intended to, I think that they were planning on leaving the royal family long before we actually heard about it.
Doesn't surprise me. Isn't it wonderful watching that footage of the late, great Queen Elizabeth? It just fills my heart with joy to see her again.